everybody. Welcome back to a super special episode of Fun. We're going into the grid. Boop, 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 boop. We're robots. We're computer programs. It's the Matrix. I think that's the Tron and Matrix are set in the same cinematic universe as far as I'm concerned. It's a special Tron episode. With special guest Dave Cobb. But before we say hi to him and his Tron sipper that he has, let's first introduce the Chuckle Wizard, the keeper of all the patience in the world. It's Nathan, college
Greetings,
professor.
user.
Greetings, user.
I come from the grid. I'm podcasting the grid, which I don't know if this means that I'm actually the grid version of me in the real world. Like, if we're podcasting and then it goes through the internet tubes, are there versions of us inside of the grid also podcasting at the same time? Or are they podcasting every time someone downloads it?
But they're ones and zeros. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Boy, that's a paradox, isn't it?
That is a paradox. There could be hundreds of Joe Rogans on the grid. We don't even know.
Yeah, where do we
That's so scary. That's so scary.
Well, as you guys ponder that, allow me to introduce you to the theme park wizard and Tron diehard himself, Mr. David Cobb. Hello, sir.
There he is.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Whoa, you're sipping from the grid. What do computers taste like?
Jared Leto's hair.
Oh,
Slightly
Well,
wet for no reason.
At the moment, Fresca. At the moment, Fresca. That's what it is.
Oh, sure. I love that.
Citrusy, brisk.
We live for Fresca. I love it. Dave,
Sir.
why do you like Tron? And
Well,
were you there?
I
on
think
the
Dan
scene?
really
You look
needs to
old.
understand this because
You
Dan.
look old,
old.
Dave. Were you there when Tron was first shown in the theaters?
So I'll paint you a picture. It's 1982. I was 12 years old. I lived a block from an arcade. I was programming Radio Shack TRS-80 computers at school. I had an Atari 2600 at home. That movie hit me square between the eyes in a way that even Star Wars hadn't, to be honest.
Sure.
And I hyper focused and obsessed on this movie like crazy. Like, I brought my dad to see it, and my dad's like I saw it. I saw it like 5 or 6 times in the theater first run, and I saw it by myself first, and then my dad asked me about it, and he was curious because of the CGI, but also people hype up the CGI, but in reality, it's a 70 millimeter film production that was made twice, once in live action and once on animation stands with like 6 or 8 passes. Like, it's a unicorn. Sure. They made this movie and then never made anything like it ever again. And the CGI gets all the press, but it was really a lot harder than that. And my dad was interested in that part too. So we went to see it. And as it's happening, certain bits of dialogue, he would lean over to me and go, "What, users, programs? What is?" And I'm like, "Shh, this is for me."
Don't ask.
Don't ask. Just let it flow over you.
Just vibe.
If you have to ask Dad, you're already not cool.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So my fascination with this movie goes back to then, and I had all the toys and I collected all the crap from it, and I had both arcade machines, Tron, and the environmental discs of Tron that you stand inside of. I had both of those for about 20 years, and so my love for it runs deep, and I will say it runs deep, warts and all. I'm not one of those fans who is an apologist for the flaws that all 3 of these movies have, but I embrace them, I think, in a way that allows me to appreciate them and love the movie anyway. People have asked me if I love this new one, and I go, "Are you asking if I love it or whether you will love it?" Those are two completely different answers.
Dave, do you have Tron seems to be in a category that I call Ghostbusters category, which is I absolutely love the world and I love reading things about the world and I would love to be a Ghostbuster, and I don't really like any of the movies that much. Like I don't hate them.
You don't like the first Ghostbusters?
It's fine. It's
What?
fine. Like I it's very good and funny, don't get me wrong, but it's
not for
diminished
everybody.
returns, especially when you come to it late. And it's
Yeah.
it is a dick around movie that put sci-fi in it. It's Stripes but with ghosts. Like,
sure. I mean,
so,
you're not wrong.
Yeah. And so I find I've talked to several people, and it's the same way with Avatar too. Not that I actually think Avatar is fairly good, in many, especially the last one I really enjoyed. But I feel like people are like, yeah, man, I vibe with these movies, but I don't particularly like think these movies are perfect at all. And I think Tron falls really in line with that.
I don't disagree with you there, and I think one of the things to remember about Tron, regardless of whether or not you like the movies, regardless of whether or not you understand its impact on visual effects, which is massive, culturally, like nowadays, if you see anything with glowing lines on it, they say it's kind of Tron-like. Like it is vernacular now. It doesn't matter whether or not you think it had any cultural impact. It did, and it had a lot of it. And so I think that's, to me, the most remarkable thing about it, and that's exactly what you're saying. The vibe of that world is part of our pop cultural DNA, whether we like it or not.
Dan, what's your Tron legacy? Do you have a Tron legacy? Pun intended?
Yeah, it's always been that sort of like that movie that I did not pay attention to until Moses was introduced to South Park, where he is portrayed as the master computer. And, they're like, what should we do, Moses? And he's like, you do, he's got that big orange head. I was like, what is this making fun of? I don't understand. And so I went and consumed the film then. And it's such a fascinating film because Tron is like not the main character. It's like one of those movies where like the movie's named like something it's not. It's like if Harry Potter was called Ron Weasley. It's like, let's go. Like Tron is not the guy. It's he, but I mean, whatever. And I will continue to stand by the fact that this film trilogy is just a multiverse version of Matrix because it follows so many of the same beats, including the third film being about one program like entering the world of the real world. You know what I mean? Like Smith uploading into that human body. Like it's so Tron and the Matrix are sisters, spiritual sisters, or they're lesbian lovers. They're one of the two, but they're in cahoots. Is all I'm trying to say.
Flynn does have some reverse. Well, no, it isn't reverse because it is in the Matrix, technically in the grid. Like Flynn does have a few Neo moments in the first two movies.
100% does. I'm telling you that this is the same. This is the same. It's the same. It's so funny. So
shall we start with the first movie?
Yeah, let's talk about the first movie because, and this is interesting, and I really want to tell the story more in depth. But this film is single-handedly responsible for one of the greatest merchandising disasters of the 90s. And it's crazy, but this 1982 film was the CGI masterpiece, so they say, this computer-generated film with computer-generated graphics that were, I believe, if I remember correctly, disqualified from the Academy Awards because
they thought they were cheating.
Yeah, it cheated. And so while Dave loved the movie and remembers it fondly, the rest of the world didn't. And the film was not all that well received. But it wasn't. It's like The Labyrinth. It's like one of these kind of like where Rocky Horror Picture Show. It is a classic piece of art that allowed, because the world was so small back then, the world was so big back then. Now the world is so small, but the world was so big back then, so that when you have these pieces of content that like acknowledge like the engineers and the computer nerds and the the code like Dave was, or like with Rocky Horror, the queer space, whatever it is that these cult classic films like touched on. This is definitely one of those that the general audience was like.
Yeah.
But for a specific few that felt very seen by it, baby, they were Goon and Tron. You know what I mean? You can't. Yeah, they were Goon and Tron. They were Tron. They were Trunin. You know what I mean?
I mean, even the thing about Tron 2 though is like, as much as it's about computer programmers and video game nerds, those video game nerds are Bruce Boxleiter and frickin' Jeff Bridges. Like,
they're still hot. They're still hot.
Yeah,
just hot, hot Jeff Bridges at hot peak hot Bridges time.
Taking his shirt off and wiping sweat off of this. I mean,
tick.
That hit me at 12 too. Don't get me wrong.
I would just like to say that Neo is a 4chan user. So, I mean, like, also, Neo is also unnecessarily hot in retrospect to what he actually was in the world.
Sure.
So, yeah. We do that. It's called Hollywood, baby. Everyone's hot. Everyone's hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first movie was very interesting to me, and I remember upon watching it, like being like, oh, okay, this isn't anything to do with this. With the main, that was like my biggest takeaway, because I watched it at a time where I had already seen The Matrix and loved it at a great deal. So
Sure. I think that the thing that hit me for that movie was that like I said, it felt like it was mine, like it was for my generation specifically, because these glowing video game worlds that my nascent digital generation had only seen on tiny TV monitors was suddenly epic and movie sized, and it sort of blew my mind, so that's why I imprinted on it. But as an adult, I go back on it, and again, warts and all, it's a goofy movie.
Jacob did to Esme. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm a Twilight stan. I hear you. You imprinted on this film.
Absolutely, I did. And it it's got this goofy existentialism. It's got this breezy chemistry between the leads, even though the writing is a little weird, but it's still like there's there's something there. Like there's vision behind it that is not necessarily realized perfectly, but they were swinging for the fences both technically and conceptually. And that, I think, is worthy of note.
Yeah. And you're using the word vibe, but I think that the word that should be used is aesthetic, because this established a film aesthetic that is carried on. And it's wild. It's absolutely wild to think that Tron and Blade Runner came out in the same year. And that Blade Runner is also the single most referenced and piece of aesthetic sci-fi material, it like Tron is, and so it's crazy how all of sci-fi aesthetic that we are leaning on pretty much still to this day was established in 1982. And so for that, it's a success. It's such a wide. It has such great world building. It's so. There's just so much happening that you don't, and I don't mean to keep harkening back to The Matrix, but it's kind of like that when you first get onto the Nostromo, and you're there's just a bunch of stuff happening on the ship they don't even tell you about. Like Tron is like that. You're like he's wandering through these worlds and things are just happening, and you're like, what is that? What's this? What's that? And sometimes you get it like the sail at the end. Like you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that thing's been, and I've seen, but oftentimes it's like a what? A who?
I mean, the
where?
The key here is the fact that Sid Mead did the concept art and the art literally in Tron for both Blade Runner and for Tron.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know how one guy is just like, here's the light and dark of theoretically the same, I mean, I know Blade Runner's not technically in the computer, but Blade Runner's very futuristic in that sense, and there is an interesting it's like anti-punk and punk.
Sure.
Doing weird.
Well, there's also John Gerard Mobius did a bunch of the designs as well, and so that's where you get this weird organic stuff in the first movie, like Sark's outfit and Dumont, that weird Dumont costume when he's all of that is very much Jean Gerard Chabot, and so you mix that with Mead, which is sexy and curvilinear and geometric, but Mobius gave it this human organicness as well. So it was really mashing things up in a weird way. I think that the thing that it can't be understated that the way this movie was made was not how people think it was made. CG gets all the press. It started CG. Well, not really. There was stuff before this, but there's only 17 minutes of actual computer generated imagery here, and even then, that 17 minutes. Kids, we did not have graphical interfaces to create CGI. These were literally animated on spreadsheets with numbers.
Yeah, with code.
They would figure out one point in space, and it needs to move over to this point in space. Okay, now take that and apply it to a light cycle that's 50 points in space.
And it had to be rendered
do the
by
math
a massive
to move it
machine.
Here.
It would be rendered by a massive machine that would then generate the image, which would then be scanned onto film and then deleted. And then the next thing would they had to do
10 minutes.
One frame at a time.
10 minutes. It was 10 minutes of rendering per frame. and
Right.
and 24 frames a second.
With a machine the size of Home Depot.
Yeah.
Like it
And
was
so-
unbelievably large. Yeah.
So the fact that there are moments of Disney style animation, little joke moments, like when the recognizers back up and boing and the
the bit
tanks
is-
the tanks skid like North Avenue irregular cop cars. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's moments of Disney humor in that
very
animation that were
informed in terms of its
impossible to
animation.
get. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very informed. Yeah, and like
And
in the
then-
way that like Star Wars like was very informed with like the motion tracking and like using like all the crucifix arm and stuff like that. Like it was this very like Disney was because it's a secret. Tron is a secret cartoon movie. Like it's people don't because of the CGI like contention because like they use CGI in the same way that like South Park still does. It's just a lot of flat 2D like just color blocks that they were just rendering in mass, but a lot of it is still like hand-drawn, like rotoscoping, like animation. It's a cartoon movie. It's Roger Rabbit. It's just like neon Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
And if people have not seen behind the scenes for this, seek it out. The making of this is crazy. They shot it in 70mm black and white film, like Lawrence of Arabia style frames in black and white film, printed those on animation cells, and then one at a time would put an animation cell on and do 8 passes.
How wild is
one
that?
for the skin, one for the lighting, one for the backlighting, one for the side. And then reshot it like animation on an animation stand, one frame at a time. So they made this movie like 8 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an absolute unicorn, and it really can't be understated. And so to me, that's one of the reasons I still love it is because, my God, like one of the best details in the making of, they talk about how Kodak made special film for them, right? It was 70mm black and white. It was a special order. They didn't have that on the shelf, and they needed a ton of it. So when the boxes were delivered, as they were shooting, some of the boxes were shot out of order. And the problem with that is it's because of film emulsion and the way that film emulsion can have microscopic changes between one batch and another. They had to use them in order. And when they realized they hadn't done it in order, they found that in certain scenes, characters would go and brightness levels would change. And the way they covered for it, if you watch the movie, are little stingers and little sound effects to make it like the computer world is glitching.
It's so wild because like what you're describing is a bunch of guys being scrappy out of necessity to make art, and like and things like Blade Runner and things like Star Wars and things like these things, they originally come from the scrappiness of someone who's very creative, and boy oh boy was this one of those examples. And what I think is so cool about Tron Legacy in a huge way is that what I imagine Tron Ares is, and I unfortunately I haven't seen it yet, but you two have, and spoilers, I will go on a spoiler rant in a little bit, but what's so cool about Tron Legacy is that it didn't reinvent the aesthetic, but it reintroduced the aesthetic, and it's like you've had like mom, it's like, Mom, can we have Tron? And Mom's like, we have Tron at home. Like from 1982, through the early 2000s, we've had a lot of discount Tron, and so when Tron Legacy came back out. When Tron Legacy came back out and it reestablished the aesthetic that was, by at that point co-opted by rave culture, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it was like, no, this is Tron, not EDM. It's cool EDM. You're cool. We're into you. Here's Daft Punk, but Tron. You can thank Tron for this. Tron is the daddy of all of this, and that's what's so cool about, and what I guess as you're making a third film in this trilogy, the question I have is, culturally, what are you going to do with the aesthetic in this film that is going to elevate it and change it? And I doubt that they did. I doubt that they did.
We'll talk about
it. But we'll get there.
I want to talk a little bit more about 82 in the sense that, I so much of 80, how do I put it? I think this works for the second one too. We'll talk about it. But 82 is, Jeff Bridges still hurts. His back hurts so much because he's just carrying the charm beyond the animation charm, which I think the bit has some of this, and I think there's a little bit of that. But boy, when he quips in the original Tron, it always works. It's always funny. And Tron himself. And what's his human counterpart's name? I'm blanking.
Alan, is it?
Alan,
Alan.
thank you. And the female character, which that's about as good as I can do, have almost nothing to do in the plot. Like they're there and they matter sort of, but it is so weird, as you mentioned, how the like you even look at the Blu-ray art for the 4K release for Tron. And it is Tron and the girl standing kind of like up and proud. And then like they've sort of photoshopped Jeff Bridges on a light cycle because they're like, he's in it too. And then you watch the movie and it's like, it's Jeff Bridges. Like, it's just, I don't know what the contract was that says these people get to be shown all the time. And then we're just going to not like talk about the fact that the protagonist is someone completely different for the majority of it.
The female character is Laura Baines, by the way. Yori is her computer counterpart. Alan Bradley is Bruce Boxleitner's character.
There we go.
But yeah, it is a like the name Tron came from an actual computer term in basic programming. I think TR/on and TR/off were a command. Tron and Troff, and evidently somebody saw it and went, that's a cool name. We'll use that. Yeah. And like Steve Lisberger, the director, his animation company made stuff like, if you remember the old 1970s.
Does the third movie have Troff?
No,
it
Troff.
does not. No Troff.
Oh my God! If Troff would have been the bad guy of the third movie, we would have made $1 billion. If they would have been like, oh my God, we always had eyes on Tron, but no one thought of Troff. Oh man.
Well, technically he's off, so
yeah,
can't do much.
But someone turned him Tron.
No, just that the idea of the Jeff Bridges and Flynn being this human. He's the audience's cipher, right? He's like, how do I understand this computer stuff? And my favorite scene actually is really early on, and it's one of those things that on first view people probably didn't get it at all, but as a kid I locked on, was when Flynn is typing at his computer and he's using his program Clue to break into, and it's this parallel narrative of hearing Clue as, yes sir, I'm doing what you tell me to do, like a soldier, and you hear Flynn's voice going, this is how I programmed you go look for the thing. But then back in the real world, it's Jeff Bridges at his computer typing commands on a screen that just shows text.
Which I'll tell you what, Ares really loves doing that. There is a lot of that in Ares, which is very little legacy.
Right, and they wink at that idea. It's one of the things I really liked in the third one was and we'll get to Ares, but there's a reason it does that, and I have a real strong opinion of why this movie is the way it is, the third one. And it relates to that. It relates to some of why the fan service is the way it is.
Just tell me now, because I want to know now. Why? Why did the
no? Well, no. This is how you get people to listen longer. It's a tease.
But we haven't even talked about Legacy yet, which I have all big opinions on.
Oh boy, I tell you what. Let's talk Wendy Carlos. I love that score.
That score is amazing. Again, another score that is, she did this right after The Shining. For Christ's sakes,
it's like crazy.
It's nuts, and these are seminal scores that are that people in music and composition like worship, because of they are this complex combination of stripped back simplicity and chilly sort of minimalist composition, but done on this orchestral scale, right? That nobody was doing electronic composition to this level of use in movies at that point. Not yet. Now it's, now you got Junkie XL doing, Mad Max. So, and M83 doing Oblivion and Daft Punk doing Legacy, right? It's common now. But if you've never seen anything about Wendy Carlos, look up, there's a short BBC like mini documentary about her. That is incredible because it's done in the 70s, I think, mid 80s. I think it's after Tron, and it's her at her home with her studio, and she has like 4 Siamese cats that are all over her and the equipment and it's the most charming thing because she's talking about music and electronics and synthesizers, and there's just cats everywhere. I love her for that.
I want to show off. I've done this before, I think, on our last podcast, Dave, but I have to show off Wendy Carlos's website because it's still like this. This is the best website in the world.
Look, cat on her shoulders.
It's just this is how it looks like. It's just
Still.
the best. It's so good. It's
Yeah.
so good. I want
It's
websites like this
GeoCities.
again. Like she never left it. It's
No,
amazing.
it's fantastic.
Incredible. I love
Yeah,
the
and
love
if you-
theme. It's my favorite.
You know, and also trans representation in a major Hollywood motion picture. Come on now, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan. I discovered her because of that, but then went back and listened to a lot of her earlier stuff, and it was just taking, you know, classical composition like Mozart and doing it electronically, which no one had really done before. So that's all very common now, but it's a groundbreaking. So there's so many things about this movie that we now take for granted in popular culture in one way or another, and yet everybody goes, "Oh, Tron's dumb and awful, and nobody liked it." Well, people liked it. People liked things about it, and there are things about it that
Hollywood people
resonate.
liked it. I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. Is like I think there are certain movies where people in the industry go, "Oh, this is very interesting from an aesthetics perspective or a soundtrack perspective," and they start co-oping it. And I don't think
Yeah.
that sometimes. I think certainly there is a fan culture for this series for sure.
Yeah.
But I think Dan, when you go back to talking about like how it influenced everything, it's like, yeah, I think there was just a generation, probably Dave around your age, that saw it and entered
Yeah.
the industry and was like, we want to do more of that. And
that's
found ways to do it.
That's actually a really good segue into Legacy, because the people that designed Legacy and the guy who directed it were heavily influenced by the first one. Like the guys who designed all the, you know, Daniel Simone and Neville Page and all the big designers, these are people who were my age or younger when Tron came out, and they're given the keys to reimagine that world for a modern audience. Like you know, I got a chance to work with Neville Page on MIB, and it was way before he had done Tron Legacy, but I actually got in touch with him while he was doing that movie, and he's like, "Dude, you have no idea how happy this makes me to be able to play in this world and reimagine it." And so you're right, Dan, that Legacy was like, how do we take the tenets of this aesthetic and make it something that a modern audience can like? And the big difference for me between the first and the second is the first is a breezy kids film that is by and large an action adventure film
About a guy trying to get credit for a video game.
for a video game.
That's
it. It's an action adventure film about corporate espionage, and that's it. For kids. And whereas the second one, to their credit, tries really hard to be a hard sci-fi movie, and it takes itself very seriously. There's moments where it's got a little bit of that goofy charm, but by and large, it knows that the first one was a little goofy, and it's like there's no way to replicate that now with a modern audience, not without them knowing the story. And so it had to do the hat trick of reinventing it and reintroducing it in terms of concepts and story. And you know, a lot of that was the ARG they did for 2 years, Flynn Lives, that I was a huge player of, and a lot of people did. But regardless, even if you didn't do that, the movie had to do this heavy lifting of, wait, what the hell is this again? Where am I going? Who are these people? And I think it's a pretty admirable film for that. There's a lot about it that I like, and there's a lot I think it does really well.
Is it the first Lego sequel? I mean,
requel, as they call them too.
Yeah, the aged former protagonists laid low in some form, found by other characters.
I can't think of any.
I can't either.
Is Crystal Skull a requel?
No, because it's still. I mean, Indy is still
It's
the
still
main
young
character.
Indy. Yeah.
And even though he's not, he's an older dude. He is the forefront, right? This is that.
I can't think of anything else. You're probably right. I mean, it is
Metal
a
Gear
weird
Solid
little
2
hat
Sons
trick.
of Liberty is a really great example of this sort of
interesting
trope, because you start the game with as Snake, but then you pivot to Raiden, and Snake becomes a background character. The prologue is of the main character, but then you immediately go in. It's the whole story is a secondary character who's on the tails of. So yeah, it's an interesting trope. It's an interesting.
When was
trope.
that? When was that game?
Before Tron Legacy.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, then
when I was in high school. So yeah.
Wow. Well, then maybe games were the first to try this out.
But I mean, it's a
Which is
trope in
fitting.
Batman. It's a trope in Batman. Like Batman Beyond is this. It's
Sure.
you know, like it's something that happens in. I feel like it's not a commonly used trope, but it's a popular. I mean, it's very
2001.
commonly used now. It's very
In
commonly
a way,
used now.
in a way,
But it
the
wasn't.
Aliens movies are kind of this, right?
100%.
Because
That is, especially Resurrection in a big way.
yeah, especially Resurrection for sure. But each one, but that was almost by design. Like after the first movie, they were like, okay,
No,
if the first is a
Alien
haunted house
like
movie.
Indiana Jones. It's still Ripley's still the hero each
Sure.
time. It's not until the
Sure.
fourth one, but anyway. But yeah, so Legacy though is really crazy because they just also supercharged it with a lot of really popular talent in addition to Jeff Bridges, unlike they did with the
Right.
original film, where it was just like, here's Jeff Bridges, here's this popular dude. It's like we have tons of talent in this one now. And I think that really made a big difference. Although, and it's interesting, what's his face who plays
Garrett Hedlund?
you know, baby Flynn, Garrett.
Garrett Hedlund.
There was problems.
Yeah.
There were problems with him from this movie, like before the movie even came out. I know, like I remember specifically, he didn't allow them to use his face on toys. Like was a thing that he like backed off of, and like was one of the things.
So
like,
did Michael Sheen.
Oh really?
Yeah, the Korra figure was released and then recalled. So if you have one, they're worth about $5,000. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Not Korra. Castor was
Castor.
the
Castor,
bar guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, what's so impressive about this is like how Dave mentioned, it becomes a full sci-fi film. Like it becomes like it's very different because it's like it's all about life. It's all about like introducing life. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we made life or whatever. You know. So I guess in that way, it's very alien. But it's an interesting. But it was fun.
also
It was
boring.
fun. It was fun. It was fun visually.
I kind of like the sins of the father trope a lot, and that idea that, you know, the two perspectives of Sam thinking his dad just left him for nothing, and it was his own hubris and his own. He didn't do it on purpose, and then you find out that Clue is the reason for that, and the ultimate expression of him searching for perfection when it's been right there in front of him with his son. Right. I actually felt those notes were really powerful and lovely. It's just that it takes so long to get to that, and for an audience who doesn't know who Kevin Flynn, it puts Kevin Flynn as a character on a pedestal so early on about how important he was that only fans like me really know. And the ARG leveraged that entirely. The whole thing was called Flynn Lives, and we were fighting to find out what happened to him. But for an audience that doesn't know, I mean, it's a big stretch for any audience to take that character that, yes, it's Jeff Bridges and he's breezy and lovely in that first movie, but to put him up as the world's best dad, that why is he absent being the crux, that first scene with him and his son in the bedroom is all you get. And like, I loved it and I got it.
Sure.
Because I had played the ARG and I had seen everything leading up to it. And and like, here's something you probably didn't know. In the ARG, Flynn Lives, it was 2 years and something like 8 or 9 million players worldwide, and 2 huge pop-ups at Comic-Con San Diego. I played it like crazy. It was all these puzzles and games, and they were all in world. We were all in story. Hell, Bruce Boxleitner showed up at Comic-Con San Francisco as Alan Bradley in character for the ARG. Like, they were taking it very seriously. At the end of the ARG, there's this thing that everybody did, that the puzzle that you do, it's this telephone code thing where you're breaking into, like, I think it's you're breaking into the original server, which is in the basement of Flynn's arcade. It had been revealed to you in the ARG. It was there. It's shown in the trailer, so we knew. You do this puzzle that results in, you see a pager come on screen and a number dial, and then a picture of Clue, and then blackout, end of game, you won, thank you for playing. So when the page happens in the movie, which is the inciting event, the 8 million players who played that game made that happen. And then at the end, when you find out, when he says, I didn't send that page, Clue did that, you're like, oh, I as a fan, as a player, am the problem in this story.
I betrayed my favorite characters.
And all that's really lovely, but doesn't matter if you're just a moviegoer going to see a 2-hour film. And so to me, that the biggest flaw of that movie is the thing I love the most, which is Kevin Flynn as a character. Jeff Bridges nails it. You're really messing with my Zen thing, man. Biodigital jazz. I love all that.
Man.
Unironically, I love that because it is
totally.
funny. Like it's exactly what that character would say. That little speech he does about what the grid could be, like disease, sickness, gone. Like you see where that passion comes from, and he plays it straight, and he plays it like hard sci-fi, and it's great. But if you don't know who the he is, because all you get is 2 seconds of him at the beginning, it means nothing. And that to me is the beyond any other filmmaking flaws of that. It was the moonshot of making Kevin Flynn as a dad and as a visionary the crux of the story.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention you're dealing with early de-aging to try to tell that story as well at the beginning. I don't mind it necessarily in the game, like in the grid. Like that's
and in the beginning though, they do it in Half-Light. He only see him in
bad.
It's not bad. Here's the thing I want everybody to remember about that. I'm going to get on a soapbox about that. All right. The guy that did Benjamin Button, who won the Academy Award for Benjamin Button, was hired to do this as well. Right. And everybody goes, oh, but it sucks. He looks all rubbery. Yes. In certain shots he does. Certain shots it looks okay. The thing to remember is in this movie, it was made in stereo. It was made in 3D.
Yeah.
They could not do what they did in Benjamin Button, which is paint out in 2D errors and paint it like moving Photoshop. They had to make it in 3D and work in stereo from every angle.
That's crazy.
In 2010, that's a completely different problem and challenge. And so I give it huge amounts of leeway for what they did. The worst shots are when he's shouting to the army on board the ship because his mouth looks awful. It's terrible. But there's a few shots, especially those 2 early ones. I think they spent, like, in my headcanon, they ran out of time and money and said, make sure those first 2 shots are good. The rest we'll let slide because once he's on the grid, we don't care because it's a video game. Yeah. Those 2 shots look pretty good, right? But again, you're right. It's another big flaw. It's another big
it's a leap. It's a
chasm.
leap
It's a leap for the audience to make. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Dan, when did you see this one? Did you see it in theaters? I think I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in theaters. Totally.
I saw it 20 times in theaters in 3D.
That was
because I knew I would never be able to see it in 3D again, so I tried to go as much as possible before it went out of
theaters. Which was a true
That's
lie, because you have it on your
turning.
shelf as we speak for your 3D TV.
Which I didn't know. The 3D TVs weren't out yet, so I have it now with a 3D TV.
Do you have a 3D TV where you have to plug in your glasses?
What do you mean? Oh, to plug in like
Are they
like a Quest?
Are they battery operated glasses?
No, they're the passive. The passive, and this is the problem. They rushed to market with 3D TVs with those stupid active glasses, which at the time were terrible because they were 60 frames a second rather than 120 hertz. And so, the follow-up was the passive ones, which is the same circular polarizers, Real D, that you get in the theaters. And they're great, and they were awesome. But they were 2 years after the first one. That's why 3D TV failed, because it was too expensive to have a room full of people and not very good with those shutter glasses. Mine, I have friends who hate 3D who come over to my house and go, wait, this is pretty cool. Like, it works so much better. Yeah. But it's tale as old as time. They released the bad technology first,
My issue with Legacy is that it has a lot of story beat issues. There is a lot of downtime in the sense of there's a point in the story where Flynn loses his identity disc to Michael Sheen, who is almost playing David Bowie, as well as a gay slur all at the same time. Like, it's a strange, it's almost offensive, but it's not. It's
not
very
quite.
Strange. It's
the
very
styling
weird.
is Bowie, the hair is Bowie, the eye makeup is Bowie, the circle on his forehead
like
is Bowie.
Michael Sheen, so it's not sexy. Yeah. It's just on Michael Sheen. Sorry, Michael. Sheen.
Yeah, he was weird casting for that role.
Yeah. You expected, like, I know. Well, actually, he would have been alive. A David Bowie in that role would have ruled. Like, if it would have just been David Bowie, you'd been.
I wonder if it was like written for Bowie, and Bowie said no. That would have been amazing if it had been.
Yeah. But the whole identity disc, like, oh no, he's got my disc, and then they get the disc back in the span of, I don't know, 15 minutes. Like, it's not they play it off as this, like, this is going to be the biggest problem, and then it is nothing, and it really does feel like this. We need another 20 minutes in this movie. Can we eke it out? Because it's a rough go of it, especially when you're like, well, it doesn't even matter in the end, because he gets the disc and he trades it, and what happens.
Well, and there's a hand wave of dialogue in that is the reason Ares can happen, is when he says, you know, if Clue realizes if I can come in that he can get out, and Sam says, really? And he says, well, with my disc it's possible. That's literally why we get Ares.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like, especially if you watch 82, Legacy just does the beats of 82. Like, here's a light cycle, here's a disc. Like, it's very much attempting to rework the best parts. And
years later we get Force Awakens doing the same thing, right? Like, it's the requel thing of, how do we make this new but give people the thing they like but different, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are moments that I really love in that film. The whole Solar Sailor thing, while Korra is being sort of rebooted, that dialogue is great. And the thing about that scene is, late in production, Kaczynski showed Tron Legacy to the Pixar StoryCorps. You know, they have their what do they call it? There was a StoryCorps storyboard or their Pixar's internal review gurus. They showed Tron Legacy to them, and he got copious notes, and all the reshoots were based on feedback from Pixar. That scene being the biggest one, the father-son chat, because it's a father-son story, and they never had a father-son chat. Like, it literally was not part of the movie at all.
That's also a great point about Kosinski. So for people that don't realize this is the guy that just directed F1. He directed Top Gun Maverick. He's really good. Like, he's a great filmmaker.
Yeah.
But this was like his first movie. Like, they just handed him a check and we're like, go.
Yeah. He had, before this movie, he had been selling around town a graphic novel pitch book for what eventually became Oblivion, which was his second movie. And that's another flawed movie that I really like. But the pitch book was so strong, and his sense of visual, and he was, you know, the buzz around him was he's the next Ridley Scott, which is not necessarily wrong. Like, he is that kind of filmmaker, right? He's very smart. And again, just like Tron 82, Legacy got snubbed at the Oscars too. It didn't even get nominated. Like, what? This is a movie where they got nothing for free. Like, everything was created. Anyway, it's the curse of Tron, I guess, to sort of be overlooked. The curse of Tron.
It never ends. It never ends. Did you go to am I reading this correctly? You were at the premiere of the film?
Of Ares?
Of the new movie?
I lucked into that. I'm no bigwig. What happened was, all my friends know that I'm a massive Tron nerd, and my friend Alex wrote me like the week before. There I am. That wrote me the week before and forwarded me an email to register for this, and he thinks, he's not exactly sure how he got it, but he's a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, and he's on a bunch of Nine Inch Nails like mailing lists, and he thinks that's how it happened, because it was a big not public, but it was a big fan thing. The Nine Inch Nails performed. I shot video. It's all on my YouTube, and it was amazing. They did a track from Year Zero called "The Warning," and then they do 2 tracks from the current soundtrack in the courtyard of the Chinese theater with a big recognizer stage and smoke and lasers. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
So was that the El Capitan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the celebrity premiere with the cast and crew, the celebrities and all the big people was at the Chinese IMAX. The steerage, like me, we saw it at the El Capitan across the street, which is exactly what happened but in reverse for Tron Legacy. I was at the Tron Legacy premiere in the same way. The week before, a friend that worked for Nokia, because Nokia had this special phone and version of the soundtrack that was only available on Nokia phones, like one of those marketing things. He called me and said, "Hey, I got tickets for you," and it was the same thing. We were just fans on the blue carpet watching, Jeff Bridges high-fived me on the carpet of Legacy, you know, and then they all went to see it in the El Capitan, and we went into the Chinese 6, which is one of the smaller theaters at the TCL Chinese theaters. So they did kind of the same thing here, and but yeah, I completely lucked into it, and saw the celebrities from afar walking down the carpet. saw Greta Lee, who I love. She's really good in this movie.
so
I love
good.
her so much. I love her so much. And anyway, it was fun. And, they encouraged people in the invite to dress up. I didn't really have a costume, but I had my Tron Shanghai Park ride hoodie. And I wore that and some glowing glasses. But there were people in full cosplay. It was nuts.
I bet there were. So
Yeah.
where does Dave land? Where is Dave at with Tron Ares? Where are you, buddy?
I liked it a lot. I liked it. I've actually seen it twice. I saw it then I saw it again in IMAX 3D on Wednesday night. And I like where it ended up. And I liked it a lot more the second time, believe it or not. I because I wasn't so nervous about it and waiting for Jared Leto to f it up, that I sort of relaxed and noticed a lot more little details that I like. Here's what's bad about it. It is Joachim Ronning, who is a studio hack. He did the last Pirates movie. He's the kind of director that will do whatever the studio
He's
has
a
to do.
journeyman at Disney.
He's a
just there.
journeyman.
Yeah.
He's not. And Kaczynski, for whatever you think about about Tron Legacy, Kaczynski is a visionary. Kaczynski is a carefully studied storyteller and filmmaker who understands the craft and tech of film and wants to advance it. He really is. He's a brilliant guy. And so I don't think Joachim Ronning is that. But at the same token, with 2 Tron films under their belt, Disney was like, "Oh, we got this." You know what I mean? Like that's what this one feels like. Thankfully, Joachim Ronning doesn't really ruin it. It is an A to B plot. It is here's the widget, get it to the widget. It is very little character development. It is a popcorn movie at best. My biggest fears were twofold, other than the Joachim Ronning fear, because I literally was like, well, this guy, come on. My biggest fears were twofold. A, that the promise of the end of the last movie with Cora being out in the real world is, programs can be out, right? My problem with seeing the trailers for Ares, which showed all these recognizers and light cycles out like in Vancouver, in the real world,
Yeah.
was that that's just a superhero movie at that point, or an alien invasion movie. Like, that's not special.
The trailer actually did feel very MCU in a way. It's like, guy in very specific out-of-world costume standing in nondescript city.
Exactly. And so that my big fear was that it would be but nothing more than what we threatened with Clue in the last one, is he's going to unleash warriors and they're going to take over the world. And it's like boring, sci-fi superhero alien invasion plot. The good thing is it's not that.
No.
At all. And the threat of the movie is an existential one, not these things are hate humans are going to come out and take over. That's not what happens at all. It's actually the motivation of this one and the threat of this one is almost the inverse of what happened to Clue in Legacy, which I found really interesting. The second thing I really worried about, and this is the big one, Leto.
Right.
I don't hate Jared Leto with the fire of 1,000 Suns like a lot of people do, but I absolutely understand why people hate him. And so respect for the hate is where I stand on Leto. He didn't ruin the second Blade Runner for me. So, I'm always like, in the right element, he's fine, is my opinion.
I just realized Leto in both 1982 franchises.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If
What other
someone can
movies
keep
came out in
him-
1982 that Jared Leto can participate in a reboot for?
I'll look
The
it
Thing.
up. Oh no,
Was that 82?
E.T.
No.
Oh my God, Jared Leto could be E.T.
I want to see that.
Yeah,
I mean, he was already the Hatbox Ghost. Make him an alien. Why not?
I mean, I could believe him being in the King of Comedy remake. What else is 82? 82 is a weird year for film.
Where did you land on Jared Leto though in it? Like, did he eat scenery or was he okay?
He didn't ruin it,
No, there's no scene.
is what I'll say.
He does not take a nibble out of that
No.
scene.
Really?
No,
He's pretty. He's
because
under control.
he's under control because the way that character is written is a flat program with specific training who doesn't know the real world. And so he plays him sort of reserved to the point where there's some actual comedy moments with him in the real world that are remarkably charming. Like, I was actually taken aback, the scene in the car when they're driving, and
He's given me Starman in that scene. There's a lot of
no,
Starman
he's
going on.
total. I didn't even think of that. He's absolutely Starman in this movie, and because of that, I was like, oh, Leto's not the problem of this movie. The other problem I had with seeing Leto in the trailers was why the scraggly hair and the beard? But I have my own internal reason for that. Like, I kept struggling with it, and I've made up my own reason for it. My own reason for it is Evan Peters as a terrible tech bro who's covered in tats and is bad boy tech guy. Who would he think? What would he think a warrior looks like? It would look like
Right.
God of War or Ragnarok. He'd be scraggly and old and long hair and a beard. So it's what awful tech bro thinks Ares, the God of War, should look like.
Yeah.
If you think that in your head, it's fine. There's no reason a 50-year-old Jared Leto should have been in this movie. It should have been a 20-year-old actor. Yeah. But okay, whatever.
He really doesn't
if Leto
start
isn't
looking
the
like
problem,
Christ till the end, though.
Dave, if Leto isn't the problem, is it? And you said that it's a studio man director. Like, what is ultimately the problem? Like, what is the problem with the plot or the device that ultimately let you down the most?
So the reason fans aren't liking it is because if 82 is here and Legacy is here, they wanted Ares to be here. They wanted it to be a continuation.
Right.
It's not. If 82 is here and Legacy is here, Ares is over here. And the reason for that is actually kind of interesting to me from a plot perspective. Let's just talk about plot for a minute. This movie posits that at the end of 82, when Dillinger is kicked out of NCOM, that he starts a company called Dillinger Systems. What if they had the same research and the same knowledge, where would they go on a parallel path to NCOM, given that Dillinger was, far more capitalist, warmonger kind of guy, and Evan Peters is the youngest iteration of that legacy. And so that to me was kind of interesting because it starts with the idea that we learned in Legacy that programs can come out into the real world, but nobody knows that Sam and Cora from the second movie, they don't know who Cora is. There's a whole thing with newspaper articles, and it's in a 3-minute recap at the beginning. Most fans won't get it. I did, which was, oh, Sam kept Cora from the world. It didn't tell anybody it was because he knew she had this. She had something that Dillinger didn't have, and he needs to keep her out of the limelight, or else Armageddon will happen. Basically, just make that jump for a second. It took me 2 viewings to get that, Nathan, but I kept thinking, why did the sisters, because the NCOM is run by these 2 sisters, there's this whole family story there. Why was she surprised when Ares shows up? And I'm like, oh, that's because they only knew of organic matter into the real world from digital as, they do it with an orange tree in this movie as a nod to the 82 where they digitize the orange and then back into the real world. But the idea of people and machines and entire programs coming out is new to these characters, which is odd. And as a fan, I got it, but even
it was
as
also
a fan,
new to Agent Smith. I just want to say really quick, it was new to
Right.
Agent Smith when he sucked his brain hole into the other brain hole. You know what I mean? Through the phone. It was new to Agent Smith.
Yeah.
So
Write your dissertation, Dan. Write it.
So, but the idea of a program into the real world, that's what Legacy gave us is, okay, that can happen. Now what? This basically says that can happen, but it adds this problem that was created for this movie, which is that digital beings and things created out of organic matter into the real world only last for a short amount of time, and they derez and they devolve. So it's a half-life. They don't
in kind
survive.
of a spooky way, to be honest.
In a really,
like,
it's kind of weird.
Fairly jarring. Like it's
they die
it's
basically.
Pretty dark. Yeah.
And you find out that there's something called the permanence code, which becomes the MacGuffin of this movie, and the permanence code is what can make them stay. And so both NCOM and Dillinger Systems are looking for it. The current people that run NCOM think it might be on one of Kevin Flynn's old servers. So they move all of his stuff to like the Arctic in this really interesting first act thing where they move it away from any technology or wireless or signal. So it's isolated, and they find it on an old server backup on a floppy, right? The 2 lines of code that create the permanence code that allowed organic things created in the digital world to survive in the real world. And to me, that's a really interesting, it's a A to B plot device. It's nothing huge, but it works in the world of this in a way that doesn't
The last Mission
continue with
Impossible
legacy.
movie did the exact same thing. I just want to say,
right.
the last Mission Impossible movie did the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, no. That all of these devices rhyme with each other.
With the guy from the knock list room. Up
Yeah.
in the Arctic
Except
with his
this
Inuit
movie's
wife.
better than that movie. I really did not like that movie.
Oh, the last Mission Impossible.
Yeah, no bad.
I like
bad.
set
I'm
pieces
sure
from
they'll
that
make another
movie.
one.
Yeah,
Talk about a lot of downtime. Like that movie was
Ooh,
2 or 3 really good set pieces with just like, oh, what are we talking about again?
Yeah.
Fan service for plots that are already convoluted. Like they try to connect all of them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What?
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
What
did you think, Nathan?
Ares, I left it and had to change my rating for Legacy because I actually think Ares is a better film than Legacy. And why I think it is because it's not trying, and maybe it's just because I'm so Force Awakened tired of Legacy sequel stuff that Ares does not try very hard to do that. It's not trying to connect.
Oh, it just takes a hard right and just
Takes
like
a
let's just
hard
do
right.
something different. The world has been built. Let's just like almost like Romulus in a way. It's like, all right,
Very
let's just go
much
do
so.
something
Very
different
much.
in the space.
Very much
Let's just
so.
go do something different in the space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings me on board actually more.
And
than
and I
would
like
have
that.
Previously been.
I like that, but diehard fans are hating it because of that. And
Sure.
I will say, I'm going to be
People
snarky
don't know
here.
what they want, David. I just want to say, people have no idea what they want. They have no idea why they like things. They have no idea why they hate things. We live in the most unregulated society in the history of mankind. No one knows anything. The lack of self-awareness is so pervasive. People hate everything because they don't know anything. Anyway, what were you
Diehard
gonna say
fans, Tron fans whose entry point was Legacy, meaning of a certain younger age, are hating Ares because it doesn't continue Legacy. Tron fans from the beginning, like me, who are like, all of them are flawed, all of them take a different take on the subject, are like, oh, this is cool because it's going a different direction, and I love it for that actually.
It's doing Terminator. It's doing it's kind of doing Day After Tomorrow. What was that movie with Tom Cruise that I love very much? They changed the name.
Oh, Edge of Tomorrow, which is the
Edge
worst
of
name
Tomorrow,
ever.
or Live, Die,
Repeat.
Live, Die, Repeat. Yeah.
Which is
Which
what
I
everyone,
love
what they,
that movie.
I
More
love that movie,
colloquially
but
known.
it's doing that. It's doing, there is this weird thing about it that it is a little slow at times in the sense of you'll suddenly realize how much time you're spending in like a corporate office or watching Evan Peters kind of be like there's a little bit too much of that. Like you could have taken. I understand why she's in there, but Gillian Anderson plays his mother, and
Wasted.
Absolutely
wasted.
wasted. Has nothing to do in that movie except tell him like, I don't know, like you're losing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the board.
She's the worst. It's like I get why they hired her, but I wish they'd given her more. I thought, Nathan, did you think he was gonna digitize her at that last minute? I thought he was gonna.
Maybe. Dan, do you want to do a spoiler conversation at some point on this?
You can
episode?
spoil.
Okay, we'll do that in a minute. We'll have a little spoiler
We'll
chat
get to that.
session. I really liked
Our hundreds of thousands of listeners will be really upset with our in-depth conversation about this movie no one's going to see. Yeah.
I actually think it might do a little. I don't know. I think it might do a little better than we think. But
Yeah, it's at like 58-60% now, which is what around what Legacy did, like 61.
Yeah.
But it's not even out yet.
We're not
so.
getting another movie. No, we're not getting another movie. This is the
Well,
end.
they end assuming we will. There's a really good fan service ending for how we might have another one, which is great. But again, fan service great, regular person great. That your mileage may vary.
I will. If the time of these movies coming out say anything to me is, Dave, I might have to leave your funeral and go see it because these come out every 25,000 years. So 30 plus, who knows? It's going to be a whole reboot.
It's hard for me to wrap my brain around the fact that this is 15 years ago was
crazy.
Legacy.
Yeah. It's crazy. It feels like a lifetime because it kind of is.
Yeah.
It feels like it anyway. But Ares, Greta Lee has no reason to be as good as she is in the movie. The movie does have some issues where it's like it wants to be hard sci-fi, and it honestly I think does a better job of being hard sci-fi than Legacy does. What it does, and even in the sense that the thing I love most about Legacy is the philosophical, like, hey man, Jeff Bridges stuff, and it is not, I think, a spoiler to say that Jeff Bridges shows up in the movie. It's very clear that he does at some point.
On the 82 grid, which is
we'll talk about it because but
that's the other thing. There's multiple grids, Dan. There's the one in Flynn's grid in 82 from the movie. Legacy grid is a separate system. This is yet another one.
Yeah. That's all one of the issues.
They're all different servers, technically, right? Is that the idea? Yeah. That makes total sense.
It's still not clear. Legacy left me with going, there's nightclubs, but what do people do? Like, is there garbage?
Those questions are answered in the extended fiction. They're answered in the novels and the games, but you're never going to play them. But just know those boxes are checked.
In the Matrix, programs are like vampires and werewolves and ghosts and stuff. So yeah, but not to continue, but like there's just like what do you mean a computer program is a vampire? What do you mean?
Yeah, what
do you mean computer programs have a bar they go to? Like, so I mean, just to say,
yeah.
And
can we just start with
Wreck-It Ralph
their
2
computer
breaks
programs?
the internet really drove it home. So
right.
By the way, Wreck-It Ralph 2,
to that point, the internal logic
Tron, and
of
Matrix all exist in the same canonical universe. Just in case anyone's curious.
But Nathan, I hear what you're saying. Like, the internal logic is hard to get across in a 2-hour movie, and so there are things where you are like, is this a plot hole? Is there a piece of this internal logic world building that isn't working? I will say that that's true across all 3 movies, and in a lot of cases, they sort of lightly fill in those holes in the extended fiction, and there's novelizations and comic books and games and stuff, which to me don't count and should never count. If it doesn't work in the movie,
wait. We have a list of all of those right now. Can we go through the list one by one, and can you tell me what you think counts and doesn't count?
No, I'm just saying in general. No.
I know. But Nathan pulled together, and it's perfectly timed. It's perfectly timed, Dave. And you can give me Ares spoilers throughout this list as you talk about these things. We could do it. We could double duty. But
we'll do an Ares spoiler thing right at the end.
Final thoughts. Final thoughts.
Okay.
But first and foremost, Nathan, can you pull him up? The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, because I want to talk about all periphery stuff.
Tron
and
things.
There's nothing that's more periphery and wonderful than
Tron guy.
Is this guy in Ares?
No. I wish he was.
Then don't go see it. Don't go see it. That's
I love him with my full chest.
This is a photo of Dave 30 years ago. It's wild. you grew out the beard.
I use him as an example in a talk I did years ago. Because you bring it up and it gets a laugh. I'm like, laugh all you want. Like, this guy went viral because of his fandom, and that kind of fandom demands our attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's amazing.
Nathan, you a big fan of this guy?
Yeah, why not? He's like early internet meme fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
I made a T-shirt out of him, and it was him, and it said "Greetings, program," on like Threadless or something. Yeah.
That's wild. I love that so much.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see here.
All right, let's look at this next Tron. Is this a Tron cartoon? I didn't even realize that they did a Tron anime.
They did.
Dave, what is this Tron thing?
It's just called Tron Uprising, and it is a bridge between the first and second films. In the second, in Legacy,
Purple Tron.
Yeah,
is
the
there
colors
Purple
actually.
Tron in Ares?
No, but there are.
Do
kind
you like
of
red. Do you
Mace
like red,
Windu
Dan?
Tron. This is Mace Windu. No, I don't want Sith Tron. I want Mace Windu Tron.
Well, if you like red,
you kind of get that with
you.
Kevin Flynn in the new one, but all the colors have different meanings. They have different programs, so you can. There's a guy that did a video about all of them on YouTube.
Well, what is purple, David?
It depends. In the first movie, it represents love because Yori turns purple when she. Yeah, it's love. There's a love scene cut from the first movie.
No.
Dan.
Robot. Though there is like one scene in the first one where isn't there like sexy girls in one scene?
Yeah, they go to the red light district of the
weird.
grid.
No one mentions it. It's like
No,
an
it just
80s
happens
Disney
in the
movie.
background. It's very weird.
Is this also in the real world? Because those look like shipping containers.
No, because the grid mimics the real world in a lot of ways, and so they're shipping
Sure,
containers in the grid. But so Uprising is about the rise of it's basically a rise of fascism. It is an anti-fascist Disney cartoon.
It's Andor Tron.
Yeah, it's Andor Tron. It's actually great, and it's really, really well done. The animation style is a combination of cel-shaded 2D, 3D, and CGI, and it's beautiful. And the scripts are really good. It's a very, very strong, well-written animated show. It's worth a binge. They leave the first. They never did a second season. They had planned for a second season. They had a bunch of scripts written, and there is an animatic, I think, of the first script or two of the second season out there that leaked, but it never went into production. It's very good though. It's actually one of my favorite ancillary things outside the movies. It's really, really good.
Are you telling me that Disney invested in the Tron franchise and then backed out?
I know, crazy, right?
Shock. The shock.
Nathan, the next thing you have on the list is the Tron arcade game. You're talking about like the OG one? Yeah,
This
okay.
guy.
Yeah, Dave, were you good at the OG Tron? Were you good at it?
I owned one of these.
Yeah.
I owned this game,
that doesn't
and
mean that doesn't mean you were
you're
good at it.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
can
Wow.
you please answer that goddamn question?
do you know who you're talking to?
He was
Yeah,
number
Dave
one
Cobb.
on the rankings.
So, oh yeah, my local arcade when I was 12. You always put in your three initials. I didn't do my initials. I did DAV for Dave, and my Tron.
You
game
should get that tattooed on you. DAV in the Tron.
In the Tron font.
In the Tron font on your arm. That and
Yeah.
like one of your scores.
with a score. Oh, that's
Or
a good
you should just
idea.
get your
actually.
name Dave, but in Tron font. Because if you have a feel like, Dave and Tron, very similar vibes. In terms of like as names go. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I am
sure.
Dave, I am
Yeah.
Tron. So,
I am Tron.
yeah.
yeah, Dave fights
They
for
did-
the user. Yeah.
Dave
I
fights for
took
the
the glass marquee out of this game, the one that I owned, and I brought it to an event during Tron Legacy promotion and had Steven Lisberger sign it. So mine was actually with the silver Sharpie was signed by the original director, but I sold it during COVID. So I had that one, and then there was a sequel arcade game called Discs of Tron, which
it's
was
the only way
this
you could pay
cool
for the
cabinet that
ventilator.
you stood inside of. Yeah. But no, I was very good at this game.
Oh, I've seen those. The Tron
The
cabinets.
arcade game outgrossed the movie. Like this is in like the top, I think, 5 arcade
Well, I mean,
cabinets
Dave,
of
it's
the
at
80s.
a time when there was like 6 games in the arcade. I mean, it's not like
Oh, there were
you know
more
what I mean?
than
It's
that.
like
Come
Gone-
on.
It's like how Gone with the Wind made $1 billion.
Oh,
but it was
sweet
the only
summer
movie that
child.
played for 37 years. You know what I
Sweet
mean?
Summer Child. You
It's
could not
it's
be more wrong.
Oh, yeah, no one. Yeah, Pac-Man and Tron. Oh, you mean the 2 games that have been in the arcade for the past 70 years?
I
No
will,
kidding, they're popular.
You could not be more wrong, Sweet Summer Child.
His millennial ignorance is showing. Forgive my generation.
Never.
Don't worry, I got issues with
So
yours,
what was
so
the
we're
Tron
fine.
2.0 video game? What's the difference between Tron video game and Tron 2.0?
So
you
2.0 was a
still-
PC. Tron 2.0 was a PC
Oh,
game.
it was that actual like platformer adventure game.
Yeah,
The
and it
Tron
was
game
great.
is just Snake. It's just Snake.
Well, Tron was a revolutionary arcade game because it was 4 different mini games.
Right.
Depending
Okay,
on,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you could choose which one you wanted to do. There
Right,
was
because
Grid
there were
Bugs,
different
there was
games.
Light
You were playing the
Cycles,
different games.
MCP,
Right.
yeah.
Light Cycles was
Tanks.
like Snake, though. It was like
Yeah,
kinda
pretty
like
much.
Snake.
And it got,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
every level was the name for every level was a different programming language. So you started with
That's cool.
BASIC, and then you go to COBOL, and it was really pretty cool.
That's cool.
Very nerdy.
So Tron 2.0 was just more of a story game.
Story-driven adventure, puzzle platformer, combat.
In
it
tandem
had
with Legacy, pre-Legacy,
no
post-Legacy?
way
standalone?
pre-Legacy, mid '90s,
gotcha.
and mid
So
to
we're
late
talking
'90s.
like PlayStation era, like PlayStation
It was-
N64 era.
It was PC first, PC only for a while. They did an Xbox 360 version called Tron 2.0 Killer App, and they slightly tweaked it for Xbox, and it was really great. The Light Cycle
Cool.
version
Did you
was
play
really
it?
good.
Was it cool? Was you?
Oh yeah,
into it?
I did. And the problem is, it came out late in the Xbox 360 life cycle, and they did not make it. Xbox One had compatibility for certain games via emulation, but not all of them. This is one that didn't. So the multiplayer on this had the capability of being awesome, but it came out late in the 360's life, so nobody really adopted it. But it was really good. It was really, it's a great game. There are story elements of this that show up in Legacy, but this is actually not considered canon. All of the story in this, his son in this is named Jet Bradley, who was Alan Bradley's son.
Jet.
Now, but the next one, Tron Evolution, is canon, isn't it? Isn't this
Tron Evolution is canon, right?
Exists in the canon of Legacy? Is that sort of
yes.
It's in the Legacy server?
It takes place before it, so it's a little parallel, and part of the story is also told in Uprising, and so this is a puzzle platformer with parkour elements, and the parkour was really fun. This one, one of the most notable versions of this is the PS3 version. Which I have, if you have a 3D TV, the game plays in 3D.
You can play it in 3D. That's cool.
Yeah, which is pretty fun. Yeah, this was actually a really fun game.
We don't have it on the list, but have you played Tron Catalyst? That
it just came out, didn't it?
Yeah, and there's here. Yeah, I know the guys who worked on it. A really cool dude. He loves freaking Tron, man. He's awesome.
There's two of them have come out in the last couple of years. One was called Tron Identity, which is a visual novel style game. A dialogue heavy point and click. And so very story driven and really good. And it's in Legacy era, so it takes place during that.
Gotcha.
Parallel stories, but probably it takes place before Sam Flynn gets there. And then Catalyst just came out, and it's a little more action oriented. I like it. It's a little repetitive, but I do like the game, and the story is a lot of fun. They're both really strong, and the fact that we got 2 new Tron games in the last 3 years is kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's got like that expanded legacy like Dune does, in terms of you just want to gobble up all the lore or like Star Wars or any of these things, it's fun to kind of expand on it,
Yeah. And there's
go ahead.
There's also a really great novel that they came out with called Tron Betrayal. Really? Tron Betrayal is great. It's actually one of the best stories set in that They
find
world.
Julius Caesar on the grid, and then Brutus, Brutus stabs him in the back, and he turns around and he's at 2 program.
Yeah. The whole thing is all of these stories take place. All these stories take place between the coup that happens that you hear about in Legacy, and before Sam Flynn shows up. It takes place during the rise of Clue, basically.
The ISO Holocaust?
ISO Holocaust, all that. Yeah.
The ISOcast.
That makes you feel so nerdy to be like, oh yeah, the ISO Holocaust. I know about it.
As a theme park expert, what do you think has done Tron Energy better? Is it electronica or is it light cycle run? What really gave you the most when it came to your Tron love?
I went to electronica a lot.
That's what I'm saying. I would imagine it outpaces Light Cycle Run. If this was a thing you could do, I bet you would be here more than Light Cycle Run any day of the week. Because it's just it's such a vibe. It's like the aesthetic. It's a vibe. It's like Pandora. It's proto Pandora in a way. It was incredible at night over there.
And one of the reasons they stopped doing those parties, because it started here and it got worse with the Tea Party. Drug sales in the park. You'll never hear about that,
Dave,
but there was.
That's why you're not allowed back in the park, and you ruined it for everybody. So thanks for selling.
if I can't buy Molly at a Tron themed party, what am I even doing?
I heard that people were finding them in there were drops in that part of the park. I know.
Crazy.
But electronic is great. Look, I love Light Cycle Run. With all my heart,
93 seconds of it.
And that's the thing. It's a little short. I think it packs a punch though. And it was longer.
The average length of one unskippable YouTube ad.
The thing is,
Tron Light Cycle Run. You can put that in quotes on the poster. As long as one unskippable YouTube ad.
There are other coasters that are comparable to this in length. It's we get spoiled by things like Big Thunder and Space Mountain and stuff, but I agree. It could be a little longer. And there was more. There was a larger building
canonically,
in the original design. Yeah.
Does the Enterprise green Tron team align with the green users are they? What does the green color represent in the media? Because Enterprise, and then I also have to ask: did they seek out a sponsor that would align with their color and what they would represent in the ride?
Yeah. So, well, that's a good question. I think green is military programs like the tank drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Look out, Enterprise.
Yeah, and purple, to answer your question, are like system utilities. They're sort of lower level, but in the first movie, it
like
was
WinRAR.
Yori. Yeah. WinRAR. That's some. I haven't typed that in 25 years. Oh my God. That's a good one.
Well, if you say system utilities, that's the first thing I think about as a
Yeah,
millennial.
absolutely.
WinRAR, baby. So, yeah, I love Tron.
I like
I
that.
love Tron. I don't know what else there's to say.
I love the ride.
I don't like the ride is fine. The ride's fine.
One of my favorite details of the ride is it's a little moment that a lot of people don't notice. That, there's moments where you're going by projection and you see other light cycles, and you're supposedly on the blue team and your light cycle lights up blue. But there's a really clever moment that they do because you can't see your own wheels when you're riding it. And so there's a moment when the vehicles go past a mirror and they light up your left-hand side as red. So it looks like you do a close call with another train.
Very cool.
It's a subtle little, it's a great idea. Like I want to know whoever came up with that because it's a really clever use of the lighting system on board the train. I think it's really great. Obviously, the soundtrack.
It's what they do on Test Track and Lightning McQueen Racing's super fun time on a mountain.
Right,
or whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called.
Light up
Radiator Springs Racers.
Radiator Springs Racers, where you see you see your white wall tires, which is a ridiculously complicated gag.
Yeah, I do honestly wonder if Disney, because Disney invented projection mapping, so I have to wonder if Disney invented the idea of the reflected mirror illusion. Yeah, Madame Leota was the invention of projection mapping. That's historically, Disney's credited with it.
You're right.
I didn't believe it. Dave, I made the same freaking face you did. I was hanging out with Kevin from Defunct Night at the time. We both looked at each other like, nah.
But
that's not true. That can't be true.
The only thing I would throw in there time-wise, and I have to look this up, was there was a projection show at the 1964 World's Fair in the IBM Pavilion, the big thing that looked like a giant egg that the audience went up into, and it was a movable set of wall segments, like the old Energy show in 82. But this is 64, and it was projected onto physical scenery. So I'd have to look that up to see if that was what I think it is. But anyway.
Interesting.
So,
I think the concept of projection mapping, though, from their argument, is a 3D sculpt that is illuminated from all sides.
Sure. That makes sense.
Like a multi projector, like to do one thing. I don't know.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
We didn't talk about Daft Punk or Nine Inch Nails. Both bop. That's about all I got to say.
Well, Daft Punk is dead. I saw them blow up. I watched it happen, and
that's
I saw
true.
the YouTube video.
Oh,
yeah. And
was that on that Fortnite thing?
Clue killed Daft Punk. We saw it. Michael Sheen.
We saw. Yeah. Did you see the thing they did recently in Fortnite with Daft Punk?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing.
I heard it was pretty good. I haven't seen
like
it yet.
A monster, baby.
Did you get the new Ares skins for Fortnite?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm at HalloweenCostumes.com where we have a Ares costume, but it got delayed, so it's not dropping until December. But we have Ares, and it's really cool. It's all yellow with his disc, and it's all red with the red stripes with his disc and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah,
Should we do
a friend of mine
I have to wrap up. Yeah, I have to wrap up here. So let's spoiler it.
Spoilers.
Let's hit the road. Let's do spoilers for fun. Since you both went and solved this for fun,
okay.
Can this just be your fun?
Yeah,
your fun
sure.
and tell.
My fun and tell.
And tell me what your favorite spoiler of the movie was.
Yeah. The biggest spoiler is Ares is not the bad guy, and the biggest spoiler is that Ares.
Did Pixar make this movie?
Ares learns to love. Basically,
the surprise bad guy. Ares learns to love.
Pretty much.
Frankenstein.
I mean. It's about a program that
stuff like
it's Frankenstein,
like
it's
Lenny and George, kind of like George of Mice and Men.
No, that's
no.
Mice and Men.
Yeah, well, I know, but Frankenstein and George are the same thing.
He
in my
basically reads Frankenstein and
because
opinion. He reads Frankenstein, but like Matrix style, like he gets it uploaded. I'm telling you guys, these are the same movies. These are the same movies. Tell me right now, Nathan, does Ares get Frankenstein uploaded into his brain like Trinity does for helicopter instructions?
does
Yes.
he get it up? Yeah, he does.
well, no, and
This is just a Matrix reboot.
they make it a plot point because he's going through the memories of the main character who is Greta Lee, and so he sees her whole life. So this program that is a god of war experiences an entire human lifetime through her data file, and part of that is
Tron
she
4, their baby, and Cora's baby.
No, they
have
don't fall
baby.
in love. They don't fall.
they
in
don't
love.
fall in love.
Thank
but
God.
they're gonna baby
Thank
off
God
screen.
they don't.
They don't.
They
But there's a
pre-baby.
really,
They
but there is a
babied before
lovely
he died then.
No.
there is a
before he
lovely
died.
moment. No,
Baby, it's Phantom of the Opera 2. That's the whole plot point. Is that
Yeah, it is.
Christine and the
That's
Phantom
ba- no,
banged
no.
before he died, before the whole thing at the end ended?
For
So,
a
like,
man,
we can
for
do
a
it.
man who
We
wants
can
to end the
retcon.
podcast,
Love Never
you
Dies
are-
is
you are
terrible.
riffing.
Love Never Dies was absolute piece of shit. That show is
Yeah, it was bad.
awful.
I love the '80s server Jeff Bridges stuff. in
So
this
he goes into the 80s server. He meets Bit. Finally, we get Bit back, which was a fun moment.
It's super good.
And Jeff being the dude again, which is great. But the moment where he questions, there's the biggest spoiler is like this God of War it also loves Depeche Mode, and you have to see the movie to understand why. But it's this cute little moment with Greta Lee in the car, and he mentions why he likes it, and he analyzes it like Data, like, oh, it's the perfect synth pop with the incredible hooks, yada yada yada. Right? When he meets his maker, if you will, with Kevin Flynn. They're talking about, the advance of technology often means that certain things are left behind. And as an example, Kevin Smith says, how many people in today's generation don't know who Mozart is? And Ares
Kevin
goes,
Flynn. You said Kevin Smith, and that's a different movie.
Kevin Flynn,
entirely.
sorry, a different movie. He's smoking cigarettes with he says how many people of our generation don't know Mozart, and Ares goes, oh, Mozart, the most celebrated composer ever, yada. But if I'm being truthful, I really prefer Depeche Mode, and it's played for a laugh, and it's great. And Kevin Flynn goes, really, why? And Ares sort of struggles with it, and there's this great moment where he goes, I can't put it into words. It's just a feeling, and so. Programs have feelings. He's learned to evolve, and Kevin Flynn responds like, "There
What
it
movie
is."
did Dave see?
No,
I'll tell you what. You're right that he kind of goes, there it is, but it's Jeff Bridges because he's like, yeah, man,
man.
It's real.
Yeah, and it riffs on that biodigital jazz and all the stuff we loved about him in Legacy, and it's the crux of this character where you go, oh, he's going to be the good guy at the end of this, and it's the kind of the most interesting thing. It takes that idea of programs having feelings, which goes all the way back to the first movie, and renders it in a really interesting way. And Leto pulls it off, to his credit. For an actor I don't like, he pulls that moment off really well, and it's played so light. It's a light touch. It's funny. It uses a pop culture reference to get the point across. It's really clever.
That's
and
cool.
so
That's cool.
Yeah, and then the other thing that's kind of silly is, at the end, he gets the permanence code, spoiler alert, so he can exist outside in the real world forever. And at the end of the movie, you see it's that classic thing of a character that has to get off the grid, literally and figuratively. And he's off in Mexico writing a postcard to Greta Lee, like learning what humans are. Yeah, it's so
I can't wait
dumb.
to meet up again to make a baby for the sequel.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's so dumb that I love
Blade
it.
Runner was all about robots making impossible
That's
babies.
true.
I'm
Blade
telling
Runner,
you.
yep.
True.
It
We're
was.
just going to keep the trend going.
Robots.
Nathan, what's
All
your
right.
favorite spoiler from the film?
No, I think it's the '80s server stuff. I think it's the fact they play Wendy Carlos' score that cheered me up a little bit.
That's
It
cool.
did.
That's cool. So they
It
take
did.
it
I
to
was
the
like-
first movie, essentially.
I mean,
Yeah.
they do the light cycle is '80s light cycle does
Yeah.
grid pattern like the bit comes back.
really?
Like,
That's cool.
It's legit and it's really really fun.
And the music riffs on the Wendy Carlos score. I teared up. It was like,
good.
oh, I'm so glad this is in here. It's
Yeah.
fan service, but it's done for the right reason, and it's
really
actually
done
done
for a reason.
for a
I
plot
appreciate
point.
that.
It's not just, hey, here's this thing you loved. It's like, no. There's
they
a real
wait for
palpable.
it.
They wait for it, and it's a really good reason to do it, and it moves the story forward in a way that feels organic to the brand and to the story world.
Yeah. I hope for more.
Wow.
They won't, but
I do
hope for more.
too. They won't. It ends. Here's a big
20 years,
spoiler.
we'll see.
Here's a big spoiler: is Evan Peters, to avoid the pending legal wave of cops that are coming in to arrest him for everything that's happened, digitizes himself into the Dillinger Grid, and there's a mid-credit sequence where he happens upon a disc that's red, but it's the old
original.
Frisbee style, the original Sark disc, and when he grabs it, he goes, no! And you see grid lines come over him, and he turns into Sark, and then blackout, and you're like, okay, Evan Peters is going to come back as Sark. All right, fine, I'm in. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I just need that big weird face back. I need the big master computer weird face.
They do riff on the master computer. Evan Peters, when he speaks to Ares, is a big red face like the MCP, but in a modern design.
Yeah.
So there's so much of it. There's so much of
that.
there's so much of Ares and Evan Peters that is riffing off the first
I like
movie.
that aesthetic, Nathan. Though you're right. I need the stretched out weird face.
Yeah. I need
I need
bad
stretched out
looking.
face.
Yeah. Right, talk like this. Yeah. Anyway, I know you got to run, Dan. We got to end
Have
this
you
thing.
made macaroni pictures? Sorry, that's the South Park. That's the South Park Moses. I require macaroni pictures. Make sure you check out South Park. Dave, you are a wealth of knowledge on. You need to make a Tron video essay, buddy. What are you doing? What are you sitting on? Get on YouTube and make some Tron content.
Yeah, he's.
I'd rather do it in person. Just give me some drinks. I'll talk about it forever.
It's true, he will.
Okay, great.
I will.
Then
I will.
Well, that you say that, I'm going to find some convention to do some Tron panels with you.
Yes.
So, that
Yes.
would be a really great. But you have to dress up as
I-
Tron.
It's not ready for this Halloween, but a friend of mine is making me the Kevin Flynn from Legacy outfit, the robes. And another friend of mine is the guy who did all the glowing EL stuff for the movie, and he's going to outfit it for me. Yeah.
I mean,
That's cool.
Dave, I'd love to see you in a full Dumont, though. With a big hat.
Did you notice Dumont, in Ares, Dumont
recycling?
shipping, Dumont recycling, like the Dumont
glad that-
waste
I'm glad it
management?
worked out.
Yeah. There's a
glad it
bunch of
worked out.
yeah.
More civic-minded Dumont these
Well,
days.
Greta Lee
Users-
learning to pilot the light cycle is a hilarious moment and a really good chase scene. It's like,
Yeah,
it's the moment where I realized, okay, Tron stuff in the real world can work, and it's not just a
fun.
superhero movie.
Have fun, gang.
That's a great scene. It's
I
really
have Tron in
good.
the real world. It's called Tron Light Cycle. Ride it now at the Magic Kingdom. Not sponsored. It's red now. It's red. Come on down. It's red. We turn the RGB to a different setting.
To R.
We went from B to R, and
And
she
hey,
is the sponsor.
We live in a timeline where a Disney movie has a music from the guy who wrote "I Want to You Like an Animal." Like,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
this is
God
a beautiful
bless
timeline. God bless it.
Thank you, Disney. Thank you, Yellow Shoes. We salute you.
This has been a production of 710 Media.